This episode is, as always, done on the insane difficulty with no death. Everything is in the description, ways to support me. I've got a Discord, Twitter, Twitch, links to directly support. There's a playlist for all of the missions. Alright, welcome to Act 3 of the Gears Tactics Victorious Shield. As always, we're going to be giving you some tips and tricks and a little chat to talk you through some missions and how exactly we began to work towards the achievement Immortal Legion, which is completing the game on Insane with no deaths. This mission was actually quite a tough one. In fact, it led me to take a break. Not very often do I take a break from a mission. I normally like to play it and get it done, but this one I was struggling with. No matter which way I attacked, I seemed to run out of moves or get pincered. Eventually we decided that a scout was a good manoeuvre due to the ability to sprint, due to the ability to cloak, and also I believe this mission has a modifier which lowers your cooldowns, meaning skills are up more frequently. Using a bunch of cooldown gear as well, which we've got over the course of our journey, this allows us to have rapid use of sprint and cloak, and I decided to go down the right hand side sprinting and cloaking to avoid the enemy turns. So now we're sort of up on this ridge and I'm beginning to push in to see what's what. Now this scout doesn't have Nimble. Nimble would be very good. What Nimble allows you to do is interact with things for free once a turn. Meaning if I open up a rescue pod or pick up a crate, that action point doesn't count and I'll be refunded. However, with this mission, I actually have the ability to be invisible and throw grenades whilst cloaked, and I'm going to try use that to my advantage. Now I'm a bit unsure of if I want to push into these guys and get trapped, so I decided to just go ahead and hide behind this rock and anticipate. Anticipation gives us an extra couple of turns for the next go, and that's obviously going to give us more freedom of movement, more chance to play around. Fortunately they actually spot me behind this rock and push up. Now, as always with tactics, there's a bit of luck. This could have been the run where this guy, this hammerburst drone, runs up and shoots me. Instead he overwatched, and this time I was allowed to cloak out of it. Remember, you can cloak and it won't activate overwatch. This would then allow me to throw a grenade and blow up these two guys, or, well, blow up one of them and damage the other, and that gives me, again, more freedom. That's what we're looking for. So we're going to push up here, and I was debating whether to fight or run, and I eventually decided to again tuck myself in this corner and hide. I didn't think the enemies would push all the way around. Fortunately, I was correct, and that didn't happen. We were good to go. And there's obviously a lot of action around this pod, and we've only got 10 turns to make it to the next section. So what I began to do was, again, I began to anticipate and then cloak just in case he pushed on me. So I began to cloak, that gives me one extra turn, and then I was beginning to wonder what should I do, and I ended up planting a grenade at my feet. This is a bit risky obviously, because if he pushes onto me and blows me up, well that's a fail, isn't it? But I was pretty confident he wouldn't do. As you can see, he actually stepped onto the other grenade, and that means now I can sort of go back around this corner using the grenade I just placed as a sort of covering grenade. And now I can lob a sort of another grenade here on top, a proximity mine, so it's sort of cloaking and grenading and covering your back and taking out the enemies bit by bit so you can get close enough to sort of grab the pod and run. That's the strategy that seemed to pay off for me. This is where things got a little bit messy. I meant to throw a proximity mine here, instead I messed up and accidentally threw it at my feet, which meant I was going to anticipate again and hide. So this was a bit of a mistake, but I rectified it by anticipating, cloaking, and then hiding out of the way so the grenades wouldn't damage me if he tripped them. So we've obviously got a very limited amount of lives to get to the next pod. However, when I tried to rush it and I tried to go further on and break the pod earlier, I would end up getting caught. So this time I took it a bit slower, used some grenades to cover my back, made use of anticipation and cloak, and then we cracked open the pod and our glasses friend sniper pops out. Now bear in mind, I only opened that because that hammerburst guy was shotgunned down. Now it's comfortable for me to get out of the way, to retreat, and we have now 7 turns, 6 after this, to make it to the next pod. So this is going to be obviously difficult. So I don't want to get caught where this new dropship has just arrived with a load of new units. What I want to do is I want to sort of double back on myself. I know the area that I've just been in is clear. That means I can be more aggressive and not push. And, you know, we can sort of hopefully leg it just to the checkpoint. Or to the pod, to be more specific. So you can see here, it's just some direct push moves. I'm just pushing all the way back where we just came from. And I'm going to take basically all my turns to get to the pod and open it. Remember, once you've opened the pod, that's it, it's job done. You don't have a turn limit there. So you're only needing to actually touch the pod. You're not needing to fully clear everything or be totally safe. You just need to touch the pod. Now, I pushed up here with Cloak because I was unsure of what was ahead. And actually, I revealed that there was a lot of wretches. And I'm pretty pleased I did that. So I threw a grenade here to zone off this stairway. And then I pushed up with our sniper friend onto this block. So he's got a bit of cover if anything comes down the stairs. And although she's out in the open, she's cloaked. And she should be safe. The grenade does in fact stop the wretches. And that's a pretty decent move there. Good prediction. And I'm now beginning to think, right, I've got 4 or less turns to get to the end. I'll push up. So again, I don't do a 3-point move straight away. I always do a 2. Always do it in sections, because if you're pushing into an unknown area and you do the full 3-point move, you can get trapped out in the open and be stood next to somebody that you couldn't quite see. So do utilise the fact that you are a scout, you've got long moves, push up for 2, have a look around and then use your last point. The sniper here behind us, I'm going to be throwing a grenade to deal with these 3 wretches. And then I'm a bit worried that this guy on the stairway might kill me, so I'm going to protect my back on the block where I just was. And now we're beginning to see the action around the second pod that we need to rescue. This one is actually heading down the stairs to push me, which means I need to get out of the way of that. And there's actually a lot of action on this stairway. So this is a mistake, I believe. What I should have done here is move up for 1. I should have thrown the proximity grenade at these feet, and then I should have hidden. That's the move I should have done. I should have tucked myself behind this wall. Instead, I threw another grenade, believing I could chain react it, and I almost did, but it didn't kill them both, which left me out here in the open vulnerable. And obviously the sniper's getting pincered in the back, so I'm running away and running into the area that I know is clear and safe. So this was lucky. This could have resulted in death, but again I could have avoided it by not throwing that second grenade, taking an extra turn and hiding just on that block in front of me.
Let's make it happen.
Luckily the Locust doesn't actually kill me, and I'm able to push up here with Cloak to get out of the Overwatch and crack open this pod. And that's now it, right? We've got the pod open. We've got the beanie hat guy popping out, and now it's unlimited turns, meaning, you know, you can play safe now. Sometimes on these insane missions with no deaths, you have to play very slow and smart and safe. So what I wanted to do first was to get the scout behind and go for these crates. There's a couple crates behind us, and the sniper can then go and deal with this guy. With a 49% chance, I was pretty confident if I shot twice I'd hit him. Unfortunately, I actually didn't, and that put me not in a predicament, but it wasn't ideal. Obviously, it wasn't ideal. Climbing up on this block and having people cross me, not ideal. Again, if I was to replay this situation, I shouldn't have taken the 49% chance shot. I should have tucked myself behind the rock here on the left of him. So now the sniper's in a bit of a situation, so I'm going to bring down this mulcher and throw a grenade. The reason we're doing that is to knock him out of cover, to interrupt the Overwatch, which is going to now allow my sniper to move freely. I'm going to push up with him, and I'm going to check the sniper shot, and I didn't want to go for that. I shouldn't have gone for it. With a 60% chance, I'm not sure why I went for it. I should have gone from the pistol. If I'd have gone with the pistol, I would have had an extra action point to then hide myself in a better place. So because I'm not in a better place, I'm going to push the scout back up here and actually protect my sniper with a grenade. If this guy moves, he's going to get blown up. So the scout had to come back there, and I did in fact play that correctly. Now I'm obviously heading towards the last chunk of the mission, and we're trying to sort of obviously not die. It sounds obvious, but also put ourselves in a position where we're close together. You know, you want all of your units close together so you can escape. So what I decided to do, even though I'm talking about being close together, was I decided to play it really, really slow and wait for this scout to get the crates. Also, don't forget, it's not a timed mission anymore, so you can wait out a few turns, wait for your grenades to come back up. It's relatively safe to do so. What I've done is I've put the sniper up on this little tower. That's obviously going to give him height advantage, accuracy, and I'm going to reload the sniper here. And note what I do. I grenade this block because it's a damageable piece of equipment. That's going to knock him out of cover, which is going to give me much, much better hit chance with 97% in comparison to when he was sat in cover. Now, unfortunately, with these games, there is RNG, and he missed the 97% chance shot. But that was the correct maneuver. Knock him out of cover and shoot. What I didn't want to happen was I didn't want him to then return fire on me. So rather than going with the kill with a mulcher, I just overwatched him. That way, if he moved, if he shot, he'd be interrupted. Yes, I could have probably shot and killed him, but I didn't want to take any chances, so I just overwatched the area. And the scout in the back there is picking up the boxes, and you can see there it gets interrupted, and we're looking rosy. So you can see what's happening now. She's going to pick up this box, and this is where Nimble would have come in useful. I could have been picking up these boxes for free, getting a little bit closer, but Sprint allows me to close the gap, and the reason I sprinted there was I had this truck in front of me that I can use as cover. I'm then going to just mulcher this guy down and eventually deal with him. He's pretty tanky. You have to sort of take your time with them. And now we're coming into the final fray. We've got our guys grouped up. We're reloading, we're recuperating, and we're just looking to rejoin up here. Obviously, I've overwatched these two sort of areas, the stairs and the ladders, and tried to keep myself comfortable and protected, dealing with this glowy, shall we call him, that pushes up and explodes. Now here I believe I make a mistake. I pushed up with sprint, and this was correct, and then I should have cloaked. In fact, no, I did okay. I did cloak. I thought I made a mistake, but we pushed the snipers just to cover this ticker. Oh, yes, I do make a mistake. I overwatched, which brings me out of cloak, which obviously if anyone climbs up that ladder or comes up this ramp, I'd die. So obviously you want to stay in cloak there and don't activate overwatch, as that will break it. So that was a mistake. And knowing that I just made a mistake, I just did another mistake, back-to-back mistakes. I was getting nervous, I was thinking the mission's over, I'm going to throw it away. I pushed up there thinking I'd cloak. And the reason I did that was because when I looked at her, she wasn't cloaked, and my brain was like, right, I've got cloak available. No, I just used it. So I had to run her away and hide. So bear in mind that this is not perfect play. You should always check if you're going to do a big move that involves, you know, I'm going to stand out in the open and I need to cloak. Just double check you've got it, and you can avoid silly mistakes like I'm making. Luckily, she actually gets away with it, and now she's able to grenade below. She's got cloak available. She's got sprint. She's got a lot of options. So I'm just going to push her up here, and I'm going to have a look at what I've got. Going to push the sniper up here to cover the bridge, and I just cloak her. In fact, this was probably a misuse of cloak. If anything, I probably could have gone down and cloaked, gone down the ladder and cloaked, but I was a bit nervous, obviously, because I just messed up once. I didn't want to mess up again, so I just preemptively cloaked. And what I've done with this mulcher and this sniper is set up a bit of a cross on this ladder, on this stairway, and I'm going to nade him there so he can't push me up this ladder. So there's not many enemies left, but because it is insane, because anything can kill you, you do unfortunately have a lot of moves to follow, which I enjoy, but I will admit it's not maybe the most exhilarating to watch at times, but the enjoyment comes from the method and the sort of feeling satisfied once you've completed it. So what I'm doing here is the reason I climbed down was I just wanted to scout just to check there wasn't any extra members or anything. Yeah, I just wanted to check there wasn't any extra members. I anticipated there, so next time I'll have multiple turns. And I'm going to hide the sniper here and just decide to overwatch this block in case it pushes in. And this is the last enemy, but obviously it's kind of a mini boss type of enemy, so you want to be careful. So I've now got a few options. I was like, can I kill it? And then I checked and I could actually run everybody into the circle and we're good to go. So that was the mission. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Smash a like and a comment on the video. We're going to carry on with this tactics playthrough. There's going to be back-to-back videos. All the videos are in the playlist. They're all going to be there. Insane no deaths. Appreciate you all tuning in. I'm going to crack open these boxes and we'll get involved into the next episode. Hopefully I'll see you there. Peace.